Hello, Free Spirit Beaters. This is Kristen here with a new episode of Free Spirit Beading on the Soft Flex Company YouTube channel. Thank you guys for being here. Tell me who's here so I can see who's on watching and say hello. I keep trying to get further and further away from my window. I think as the sun is changing its time, I get brighter and brighter, so I keep getting further and further back. So how's everybody doing today? Happy Halloween week. I saw lots of festivities already started this past weekend, so if you got to celebrate, that's awesome. Hi Lydia and Mesa, you are right where I am. I'm in Mesa too, so happy to have you here. It's been gorgeous in Arizona. This is like the time of year we live for, when the heat has finally calmed down and we can go out and enjoy ourselves. It's just phenomenal. So today we're gonna talk about macrame. So this was my demo I was working on for you guys, doing some macrame and knotting with Soft Flex Beading Wire. We had a sale going on this week. It started last Tuesday and it ends tonight. Hi Mary Ellen, welcome. Thanks for being here. And it has been doing gangbusters. Actually, it's buy a trio set, which a trio set, if you haven't seen one, is a set of a 3-pack of Soft Flex beading wire in 3 10-foot spools. And yes, we did meet at To Be True Blue, and I will be there again this February. Lydia, will you be there also? I remember. So this is a trio, and you get 3 10-foot spools of Soft Flex beading wire in complementary colors. And this is the Autumn Spice Trio. It's one of our new fall trios. It has the purple amethyst, the citrine, and the red jasper in it. But we've been doing it buy a trio, get a free Mini Macramé Board. So when I looked online right before the video, we just had 2 of these left. So if this is something you're interested in, buying a trio and getting a free macrame board, we just have 2. And then once those 2 are out, it'll be a few weeks before we get our next round of stock in, but we will get more. So if you like what I do today and you miss out on getting a macrame board because we've sold out, don't fear, we will have some more in just a couple weeks. Thank you, Soft Flex. I think Damien is here with me today. Thank you, Soft Flex, for sharing the links to the trios, the Autumn Spice trios and the Mini Macrame Board. I was going to show you a couple of trios today since I did a demo in purple. This is our purple amethyst color. You can find that in the Autumn Spice trio I just showed, as well as the Mystical Trio. And the Mystical Trio is a really pretty mix of purple amethyst, our spinel red color. It's sort of like a soft red. It's got a little bit of something about the color that just sort of softens it a little bit. And then we've got the pink tourmaline. So that's our Mystical Trio that also has the purple in it. And my other demo color today is the green turquoise. This one is such a pretty color. Let's see if we can get this to focus. There we go. I think that's a little bit better. So the green turquoise, you can find that color in our Serenity Trio, which is bone, green turquoise, and fluorite. And our new Mermaid Lagoon Trio. If you hear a little whining in the background, that is my doggie Mary. Mary Bear, we call her. And I think with my window open right now, she's seeing people outside walking, and so she's given a little whine. All right, so I'm gonna turn you guys down onto my beading table and we're gonna get going. Hi, Susie. Thank you for being here today. Happy to have you. So the tools I have today is the Mini Macramé Board. I have a pair of cutters. I'm using the Soft Flex Pro flush cutters. I have a pair of chain nose pliers. And I have my magical crimping tool. We sell all of this on Soft Flex Company's website, www.softflexcompany.com. The magical crimping tool I have is a bit older, so it's in a yellow handle. We do now sell it with a purple handle, so that will be just a slight difference you'll see online. In addition, I've got my, of course, my Soft Flex beading wire. I'm using our medium 0.019 diameter in purple amethyst color. And if you're not familiar with Soft Flex is a micro-braided stainless steel beading wire that is colored and coated in nylon. And the color will not chip, it will not fade, it will not crack. It's a very flexible and strong beading wire product. And the beads I have today are these little Art Deco cubes from TierraCast. They're called TierraCast Antique Gold Pewter Deco Cube beads. They are 5 by 7 millimeters, and I have it in the antique gold color pewter and also the antique silver color pewter. And you can, we don't sell the beads at Soft Flex Company. You can Google TierraCast Deco Cube bead and you'll find some sources that way of people that are carrying that particular product. I have some 2 millimeter by 2 millimeter crimp tubes. I have it in our gold filled and our silver color, sterling silver. And then I have just some simple toggles. I have a silver color and a gold color. And I also have some jump rings. And the shape of the jump ring, really, the size doesn't matter. It's what you've got or what you prefer will work. So let me just... So since I already started with a purple as this color demo, and I have a green turquoise showing here in this particular bracelet, I wanted to know what color you guys, hey Mary, shh, what color you guys would like today. I can choose from, I can choose a color from the Autumn Trios. I've got red jasper and citrine. I can choose a color from the Mystical, the pink tourmaline, spinel, and then that's the purple. So what do you guys think? And I also have gold beads and silver beads. So I'll take your ideas on which colors you'd like me to use today. Ooh, I love red jasper. That's a great suggestion, Lydia. Just red jasper is one of my favorites. I think red jasper would be good with the gold beads. Do you agree? Susie also says red jasper. And Dawn says with silver. So you want me to do the red jasper with the silver beads? These two together? All right, I'll do the silver. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this demo off for now. I'm just gonna use this to show you guys how to finish later. And I'm gonna cut, so I'm using the red jasper, Soft Flex medium 019. I'm gonna cut two 12-inch strands. And those strands are gonna go down I'm gonna put these strands down the center, so I'm just gonna put them in one notch there and then in the bottom notch here. And I actually even like to just slightly separate them. So I'm gonna put one notch there and one notch there. And what's really great about this macrame board is that the wire just slides into the notch. You can see it on the back side here, and it keeps it nice and secure. Especially with Soft Flex wire, which has that nylon coating, it could be a little slippery, and this particular material really holds it in there nice and tight. You'll see me have to just kind of tug on it a few times, but it doesn't slip a whole lot. So that's two 12-inch strands down the center there. And then I'm gonna cut one long strand. This is gonna be my knotting strand. This one is going to be 60 inches. Okay. All right, so this one's my knotting strand, and this one is 60 inches long. I'm gonna slide it underneath these two strands here, and I'm gonna center it. So I'm just gonna pull my wire until it's just about center. And that's not centered in between here, but centered in this long. So I've got like 30 inches on one side and 30 inches on the other side. And the knot we're doing today is called a half knot spiral. So this is a macrame half knot spiral. It's a very common beginner knot, and you can use this with all sorts of different materials. And we're gonna get going with Soft Flex. So what we do is we take the left side strand and we're gonna fold it over our two middle strands. Then we're gonna take the right side strand, we're gonna go over that left strand that crosses, and we're gonna go under the middle and through this loop and just tighten that up. And this is gonna be the same, and then you just pull it tight to the top. I'm just gonna check that I'm still pretty center, and I am. Okay. And you'll see I've got, yep, got my wire back there. Okay, so we'll just do that same knot over and over and over again. So we're gonna do 20, and then we're gonna add a bead. So that was my first one. Yeah, you need to be quiet, babe. All right. So you take the left side strand, go over the two in the middle. You take the right side strand, you're gonna go over that left one, under the two in the middle, and then you pull it up through this loop on this side. and then you're going to pull that tight. And you're just going to continue to repeat that. So left side over the two, right side goes over that left strand, under the two middle strands, and up through this loop here. 3, and then I'll just pull this down. And in the beginning, it's a lot of wire to work with. You're using 30 inches on each side, so it feels a little cumbersome getting going, but as you move down, obviously your knotting strand gets smaller and smaller, so it becomes a lot quicker and easier to work with. And every now and then I just tug it so it goes back up there. So you see how it's doing that little knot twist right now? We're about halfway there. 10, and I just chose this number 20. Like, you can change it up and do 10 knots and then a bead, or 5 knots and then a bead, or whatever feels good for your design. So did anyone do anything for Halloween yet this weekend? Or is anyone dressing up this year? It is amazing, Lydia, that you could tie knots with Soft Flex, like with string. It's really crazy. So there we've got about 20 right there. And however tight you pull them is gonna, affect a little bit of your tension. So I was a little bit looser on these than maybe I was on this one. And I think part of it is because I'm kind of on camera, so I'm doing my knots a little further away from my body than I normally would do. So at this point, I've got 20 knots, and that's just that same repetitive knot over and over again until I got 20 times. I'm going to pick up these 2 strands I have notched in down here, and I'm going to slide on one of these beads over both strands and just slide that up. And then I'm going to separate these 2 strands again and just knot them back down in here. Carolyn is just tuning in. She says she loves this color wire and it's such a great fall color. I agree. This red jasper color is just super pretty and it pairs so well. I pair it a lot with like antique brass color or bronze. I've used it with copper and bone. So it's just a very nice earthy kind of color. And Susie says she's just handing out candy this year. Oh, that's fun, Susie. You'll get to see everyone come to the door all dressed up. That's pretty neat. This is the first year I will be not home with my kids. It's really strange. They are a little bit older now. They're gonna go trick-or-treating with their friends. And my husband and I are actually getting away for the night and going to Vegas. So it's really weird. It's gonna be a strange Halloween, but a lot of fun. So once you slide your bead on, you're just gonna do that same knot to kind of anchor your bead in place. So I'm gonna take my left strand, just like I did all the other times, put it over the two strands in the middle, take the right strand over the left, under the two middle strands, and through the loop on this side, and then I'm just gonna pull that tight up to the bead. And then you're gonna do your next knot. And I don't count that as one knot, I just kinda count that as the bead knot. So then this will be my one knot again. And if your wire kind of pops out a little bit, you can just kind of give it a little tug before you get that other knot in there. And then that was my first knot. I'm just gonna do the same thing over again. Over that wire, under the two middle, through the loop. And then do this again for another 20 knots. So that was 2, 3, 4. Damien at Soft Flex Company says, I'm handing out candy this year too. I'm proud of myself that I have not opened up a candy yet. Oh my God, that is just saying something. I actually have not bought Halloween candy yet because we just inhale it around here. I think last year I ended up putting a bunch in the freezer, hoping to slow us down a little bit. But you know, we all like frozen candy too, so that doesn't help a whole lot. So this year I was like, I haven't even bought it yet. I'm like, I'm gonna go out probably tomorrow and get some candy for my mother-in-law because she'll be hanging with the dogs here at the house and we'll be here when the kids get back. So Lydia asks, can you use more than one wire at a time to do the knotting so that you have more colors? You totally could. Yeah, you definitely could. That would be really fun to see. When I do this in the full square knot, not the half knot, I do usually do 2 different colors because you can see like the wire underneath poking through. So I will do like 2 colors for the middle strand and then a different color for the knotting wire. And then this way you have that, that play on colors there. And Anna says, I tuned in a little late. Did you give an estimated length of wire needed for the wires that you are knotting? I did, Anna. So what I did is I cut 2 strands that were 12 inches each, and those are my middle strands. So those are the ones you see going down here. And then I cut 60 inches for my knotting strand. So you need a total of 72 inches of wire. And that gives me a bracelet that ends up being about 6 inches knotted, and then once you add the jump ring and my toggle clasp, the bracelet ends up being about just under 7.5. So you can adjust those sizes as you need it a little bit, but let's see what we've got going here. Couple more. So if you have a 10-foot spool of Soft Flex wire, you should be able to do that with all one color, or if you have a few 10-foot spools, you can alternate colors like Lydia was asking and give that a try. And the bead I'm using is a 5mm by 7mm bead that I'm kind of dropping in here. And that's what we'll do here. So once you have another 20, let me just do another one, another 20 knots for this design, I'm just going to drop another bead. And one of the fun things about this board is I can take my wire that are on the sides, my knotting wire, and put them on these little notches here. So if I need to step away or come back to this later, my wire is held in there really nicely. It keeps this nice and taut so it's in good shape when I come back to it. So to add a bead, we're just going to pick up these two wires in the center here, pull them out of the notches in the macrame board, and slide them both through that bead and back up there. And then I just take my two notches and my wire and tuck it back in. And I just like to keep them a little separate, and that helps them from twisting too much. That's why I do that, because sometimes if you put them in the same one, the wires kind of overlap a little bit, and then it just gets in the way, I found when I was knotting. So I like to just do a little bit of a split. And you take your left over the middle, take the right over the left, under the middle too, and through this loop here to help secure that bead. And then you do that one more time. And I'm gonna stop here on this one and show you guys how to finish this design. You're welcome, Anna. So now I can just kind of put my wires on my board, put this aside, and come back to this one later. Oh, Mary. Come here. All right, so this was the demo I had, the bracelet I had started, and I'm just gonna show you guys how to finish it. So here's one that's already completed. You can do this a few different ways. Since one side ends up with just 2 wires and the other side ends up with 4 wires, the way I did this one was I just had one crimp on the one side with the 2 wires, and I separated on the other side 2 and 2, so it's got a little bit like 2 little crimps on that side. And the reason I did that is because I wanted to use the magical crimping tool, which means I wanted to use the 2x2 crimp tubes, which means I had to do them separate, because you can't get all of these 4 wires and then back through into a 2mm by 2mm crimp tube. So this was my little workaround on how to get that, how to get those 2mm crimps. So you can do that. I also experimented with just doing the 2 bunny ears on both sides, if you like the symmetry of having the same connection on either side. There's 1 and there's 2. So you can do that where you do 2 crimps on this side and 2 crimps on this side so that you have the symmetry. But I find that this side's a little tight, the one that has just the 2 wires. Doing 2 crimps on there, I don't really like it as much. I think I'm gonna show you guys this one where I just do 1 crimp on one side and 2 crimps on the other. Now if you have some of the large 3mm by 3mm crimp tubes and the mighty crimpers, you could even use that as well on the one side. But I love how these little magical crimpers turn the crimp tubes into little beads. So that is my preferred tool to use whenever I can. So I'm gonna pick up a 2mm by 2mm crimp tube and I'm gonna slide it on this one side here. And I'm just gonna take 1 wire back through. So the crimp tube went down 2 wires and 1 wire back through. Because ideally when you're working with 0.019 Soft Flex, it's 3 wires that get through that 2mm crimp tube nicely. Anything more than that is gonna be a bit of a struggle. And I'll end up just cutting that piece off. So you can move this down to wherever you feel comfortable with your loop size. I think that looks about good there. And I am using the magical crimping pliers. The magical crimping pliers have 1 little notch on each side. You want your crimp tube to slide right into the center of that notch. Right into the center. You give it a good squeeze and it'll come out with little pinched corners on each side. You're gonna turn your crimp 90 degrees. You're gonna place it back in the center of that notch. Give it another squeeze. And then you're gonna keep your bead in that notch and you're just gonna kind of rotate it and pump and squeeze. And that will help to really make a nice crimp tube. And then you just cut off your excess wire. Oh, I just realized I used a silver one because I was using the silver beads, but this one has gold. Oh well, that's okay. It's a good thing they're teeny tiny. I'll pick up the gold ones for the next one. So on this side where I've got 4 strands, I'm gonna crimp these 2 and I'm gonna crimp these 2. So we'll start on one side. And if you haven't seen, we have new crimp tubes at Soft Flex Company. Soft Flex crimp tubes are amazing. I'm gonna do the same thing I did on the other side. I'm gonna string this down, the crimp down on the 2 on the one side, and then I'm gonna take one of the strands back through the middle. So Soft Flex crimp tubes are thicker, almost twice as thick than most on the market. They are seamless. And where's my wire going? And just super duper strong. We sell them in gold-filled sterling silver for a very long time, and we just this last week got in some black oxidized crimp tubes that we're really excited about. I'm just gonna check my loops that are similar on either side, and they are. So if you work with black wire or have a need of using more of an oxidized black color, gunmetal, any of that kind of stuff, you're gonna love our new crimp tubes. So now that I've got my crimp ready, I'm gonna use that magical crimping tool again. I'm gonna put that crimp right in the center of the notch, give it a good squeeze. You'll see it has the little pinched corners. turn it on its side, place it back inside, give it another squeeze, and just pump and turn it a few more times. And then I'm going to trim off my wire from that one, making sure I'm using the right wires to trim. And then I'm going to make my second little rabbit ear on this side to crimp this. So I ended up using 3 crimp tubes. String your crimp tube on the 2 wires, take one of them back through, Mary's usually pretty quiet when I do these videos, but today she seems all fired up. Go ahead and put your crimp inside the notch, give it a squeeze, turn it, another squeeze, and go around. One of the really fun things I did this week, which was kind of neat, is I did what was called a witch's full moon paddle. One of the paddle boarding companies here put on this event where we dress up like witches and we go out into the full moon, which was last Wednesday, and we went on one of the lakes here in Arizona, Saguaro Lake, and we did a full moon paddle boarding, and it was really super fun. But I'll say I'm definitely a little more of a kayaker because I tend to sit on the paddle board. Every time I stand, I fall in. So, so I sat. I know, it's so nice. That Mary is happy that the weather is nice. She keeps going to the window. There's a window where I'm sitting, and she keeps going to the window and whining. She wants to get out there. All right, so now I'm gonna hold my jump ring with just the little top part of my crimper, and then I've got my chain nose plier on the other side. And to open a jump ring, you're just gonna twist your wrists just slightly until it opens. And I'm actually gonna attach one half of my toggle and then slide that crimped loop there. And then I'm gonna use my chain nose and just twist my wrists back. I think I might have to take her for a WALK today. I don't want to say the words out loud. And I do the same on the other side. Open up my jump ring. And you could even crimp directly onto your clasp if you want to do that. I just find with this particular design, it's nice to not have the clasp in the way while I'm trying to crimp. So slide both of your little loops on this side and close. And there you have it. So there you have that one finished. I'm gonna back up a little bit so the sun is like. And there you've got your half knot spiral macrame bracelet. That's the purple amethyst, that is the green turquoise, and then this is the red jasper one we were working on. I will finish this one up and post the picture on our Instagram page, which is just Soft Flex Company on Instagram, and I'll also post it on Facebook in our VIB studio group if you're on Facebook. We tried last week to post a finished picture on on the YouTube page here, but I couldn't figure out how to add it to comments, and because this is a live video, I guess there's no way to edit and add the picture in at the end. So it'll have to be those two, Instagram or Facebook, or if you're on our email list, you'll see it there, and on our blog, we'll put it on our blog too. So those will be the few places I'll put what this particular design looks like in the end. Anna says, very nice. Lydia says, I like it. Thank you. So I think it's really a fun way to really show off these Soft Flex colors. Let's see if I can grab that. And you know they are, you know, marine quality. You can wear it in the water. You can wear it in the shower. They're all that kind of good stuff too. So you don't have to worry about them fraying or breaking down. Anything like that when you do a project with the Soft Flex wire. So I don't know if we have any of the macrame boards left. You guys will have to check it out and see. Like I said, the sale just went gangbusters this weekend. Oh, okay, yeah. All about dropping the phone. I can patina paint my crimp. Yes, you're right. I do have a little bit of patina paint, so I could go ahead and patina paint my crimp tube to match each side, since I used a silver on one side and the gold on the other. Hey, those things happen, right? So a few other things I wanted to let you guys know about. We've got 2 other videos coming up this week if you are on Facebook. If you're not on Facebook, we do share them here on YouTube like a day or 2 after they were live. So you can always watch the replays here on our YouTube channel. If you're subscribed, you'll get updates on when those are ready. But we have one to October 30th. Which is a Facebook Live with Sarah at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And she is going to be doing a design challenge with a box, a mystery box from vendors that will be at the Whole Bead Show in Oakland. So she did one of these, I think it was a week or 2 ago, and it was really interesting because the vendors each put together, whoever was involved in the box, put together a few little samples of things that they'll have at the trade show, and Sarah was able to open up that box, you know, not knowing anything that was inside, share it with everybody, and then choose a few pieces to make some designs on the fly with you. So that's always a lot of fun. I think the last one is actually on YouTube here if you want to watch the replay, and then the 30th will be the new one on Facebook Live on our Facebook page, Soft Flex Company. And then October 31st, at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Sarah is going to be designing with our Black Magic kit. And that was, we do a monthly kit. And then, so what she will do is she'll design with the Black Magic, which was our Halloween kit, which will be perfect on Halloween, that she'll be working with that one. And we'll also be launching the new Holly Jolly Christmas kit. So if you are a Christmas fan, you're definitely going to love that kit. We partnered up with Jesse James Beads for that one, so there'll be some really fun stuff in there. Our kits sell out pretty quickly within the first couple of days, so we'll launch that kit on the 31st around the same time as when Sarah does her live video. So if you don't catch it, but you're interested in the kit, just head over to our website, softflexcompany.com. Right underneath like the main banner, there is a new product section, and it would be there in that new product section as of the 31st. And lastly, our buddy James, who does Conversations in Wire here on our YouTube channel, is on a little bit of a hiatus. We've had some technical difficulties in the office this last week, and he is helping us out with those technical issues, and until that kind of gets all worked out and resolved, he won't be back here doing his videos until he's done with that. We just needed to kind of lighten the load on his plate with all of the stuff he's got going on back at the office. I know you guys love James's videos. They're wonderful, and hopefully he'll be back doing them sooner rather than later. And then lastly, I'll be here again next Monday, 11 o'clock. Not sure today what I'm going to be doing, but if you have any suggestions or comments of something you'd like to see, you can always welcome to let me know, and I'll take that in consideration when I'm working on my schedule. Usually I post on Friday the what's coming. So if you are subscribed to our channel, you'll get an update on most likely Friday what I have scheduled for Monday, and then you can click on there to set yourself a reminder. So I hope you guys have a wonderful week and a great time on Wednesday, getting to see all the kiddos dressed up for Halloween. And I'm gonna have a great time. I'm gonna be in Vegas seeing a concert. So we're just sort of popping in for the evening and popping right back. It should be a really fun 24 hours. And I'll see you guys here again next Monday. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon. Bye.